I travelled all the way down to Exeter to the Met Office HQ and I became a weatherman for the day.
Whoa, rain.
I managed to sit down with Alex Deakin from the Met Office and asked him a ton of questions. So here's how the day went. Really big building. It's really scary because I might have to do the weather. I think I am doing the weather. It's not I might have to, I'm pretty sure I'm doing the weather. I don't know what I'm doing. Every time I record a video, I always stutter. I can't talk. I even do it when I'm recording YouTube videos. I'll probably do it in this video and have to cut it out. You see that? I use the force. As soon as we got in the building, we were met by Ross, who gave us a tour of the entire place. And when we got there, they were actually live, so we got to see the behind the scenes of how it all worked, and that was really cool. We even got to see the supercomputer. That's so cool. I can see myself recording. It's terrifying. But then it was time to get mic'd up because it was time for my interview with Alex Deakin. Everybody seemed to be really interested in the camera that I'd brought with me to film everything.
We're going to need the spec of that. I think that looks
that looks really good. That is so cool.
Yeah, it's built into a gimbal, which is
so
nice.
It's keeping it.
You can connect it on your phone and then you can press record on your phone. So like if the camera's over there, I can start recording from
remote record it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's the best thing I've ever bought.
How technology is.
I might have to follow up and ask you for some deets on that.
Let's get,
See, I can see what she's recording on my phone now.
Whoa.
Look, it's us.
Yeah.
After a little bit of free promo for the brand that makes that camera, we got into the interview and this is how it went.
I'm here live. Not live. We're not live. It's not live at all. How many times have you heard that it's going to snow this winter and then it doesn't actually end up snowing? Misinformation is a massive problem, and that's something that Alex knows firsthand about after his TikTok video.
Yeah, so we keep an eye across TikTok. We're publishing TikTok pretty regularly. We like to tell people when it's going to snow because we know people are really interested in snow. Snow, hot sunny weather, storms, they're the big things that we know do well on TikTok. But we noticed, particularly the last 2 summers, how heat waves have generated a lot of interest. And the last couple of winters, there's been a lot of talk about snow. A lot of newspapers like telling everyone it's going to snow, and most of the time there's not much truth in what they're saying. They take one graphic from a forecast that's 2 weeks ahead and tell everyone that this is the truth, and that's not really how weather forecasting works. So yeah, it's something that's becoming a bigger problem, something we're trying to deal with.
News articles, clickbait, obviously, to get more clicks, not necessarily always the truth. Why is that a massive problem?
Well, I mean, a lot of the time, the weather in the UK isn't actually that interesting, that dramatic. I mean, obviously it affects everyone every day in some form or other, but most of the time it's not heavy snow, it's not hot sunny weather, it's not stormy. You know, for 40 weeks of the year, the weather's usually quite calm. But people know that snow and hot sunny weather gets people's interest, it gets people excited, it gets people clicking things. So that's why we see a lot of these stories generated, because it generates more interest and it generates more revenue because it goes to people's websites and they get money for the adverts. So stories are exaggerated, let's say that, as a minimum. Stories get exaggerated and it can be dangerous.
Would you consider calling more people out if you see misinformation? Would you consider making more videos saying, actually, that's not true, this is the truth, and then that way people get the correct information?
Yeah, I think the big thing for us is we want people to follow us. So if we're not talking about it, it isn't happening, right? So that's what the message we need to go. So yeah, you can see 10 different weather stories every week on TikTok in particular. But the best thing to go is go and check if we're talking about it. We're publishing on TikTok 3 or 4 times a week. We're on YouTube as well. And if we're not talking about it, it isn't going to happen. So it's about getting people's attention to follow us, ideally. But if there's a line that's crossed and it genuinely is dangerous information that people are seeing, then we will call it out. You know, there's one particular video that had over 3 million views, and that's why we took that action to say, look, this really isn't true. It's really important that we call it out when it's bad, and it's about getting that attention and people coming to check with us, because we are the gatekeepers, if you like, of UK weather, and we'll be talking about. We want people to stay safe and thrive. That's what our aim is. We want people to enjoy the weather when they can, but we need to let people know when it's going to be severe. And there's a real danger of crying wolf, you know, because if people just see it all the time, and then it washes over them and think, oh, it's another snow story, it's another snow story. And actually, no, when we're talking about it, it's actual snow, or it's actual heat, or it's an actual storm. So it really can be quite dangerous. So yeah, we call it out if they overstep a line, but most of the time we're just in the comments saying, this is exaggerated, that kind of stuff, because we need the newspapers to
Yeah.
spread our word as well. You know, we're only an organisation, a government organisation. We haven't got as much reach, you don't reach everyone all the time. So this is why we need the newspapers to help tell the stories, but they need to be factual.
Yeah, definitely. You see in the comments of videos like that, people are commenting, do the Met Office know about this, and all that sort of thing. So I think people, because of that video, I think that video actually did a lot of good, because people in that video now know to take everything with a pinch of salt that they see if it's not actually coming from the Met Office themselves. When it comes to videos like that, people get anxiety about the weather. Older people specifically can be at risk. Family members obviously don't want anything bad to happen to them. It seems like some news articles, you give them an inch, they take a mile, and yeah, that is a massive problem.
Yeah, and it's verging on irresponsibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're stressing people out, like you say, or if you're putting the fear into people, because, you know, significant snow does cause significant problems. People can't get around, people can't get out, and the same goes in hot weather in the summer as well. You know, if you have these extreme heat events, then it can be dangerous to health. That's why we need to talk about it when it is happening. So yeah, it is verging on irresponsible to be publishing these stories quite a lot. But it's that fine line of, you know, as I say, we need to get the message out there when it's really happening. But with the weather, there's always a bit of uncertainty.
Yeah.
You know, we can't say for certain, however good our forecasts are, and they have got a lot better, and they're pretty accurate now. But you know, there's always a bit of uncertainty, so there's always that little bit, you know, stay tuned, stay up to date, and that's why we try and publish as much as we can, because the forecast will change. People check their apps all the time, right? And apps aren't always necessarily that useful in picking out individual weather events. It's, again, useful for having that idea, but that's why you need humans. You need presenters, meteorologists to tell you what the uncertainties are, and it's about that staying up to date and staying tuned.
Well, what's the weather looking like for the rest of this week?
It's looking good.
It's quite hot today.
Yeah. It's the end of winter. As we're recording this, we're going into spring. For us weather folks, spring starts on the 1st of March, and it's nice and sunny. The weekend's going to be a good one.
I came in a coat and I was absolutely sweltering, so I'm glad I took it off.
Because you've come down south. It's because you've come down south.
I'm not used to it down here. I wanted to talk to you about the planets in the sky last night.
Okay, yeah.
Is that going to happen again anytime soon?
Well, I think the next time is 2040. So it happens every kind of decade or so, but they're still visible for the next few nights, so it's not just tonight. Tonight is the peak, or tonight is the best night, Friday the 28th, because the moon is quite new. So there's not much moon. As the moon gets bigger, it gets brighter, so it's harder to see the other planets. Right. So that's why tonight, Friday the 28th, is the best night. But they're still visible for the next few nights. And the good news is most people will have clear skies. So yeah, decent chance to check out all the planets.
Well, I'm going to be definitely looking at
that. You
You
do need a telescope for
Never mind.
Neptune and Uranus, and Saturn's really low. So you need a good view of the horizon in the southwest. But yeah.
I don't have a telescope, so...
The others are good. Venus is still good. Mars is still
good. If I can see a couple,
yeah,
then that's the main thing. I'll be 39 by the time the next one comes.
Oh, wow. I mean, yeah, that's really old.
Yeah.
Massive thank you to Alex and everybody involved in filming that, obviously taking time out of their days when they really didn't have to. I do really appreciate it. After the video, I watched Alex in action doing the weather, and then it was my turn to give it a go.
I won't put too much in there, so it's like less pressure. Greg will count you down, and then it's just this button here. Oh, sorry, it's this one. You know when you just kind of do it naturally, and then you have to show someone. So this will end at 5 a.m, and then it will stop until you click on. So to get the temperatures on, then you click again. There they are. So yeah, quite cold and frosty, but then obviously the cloud temperatures aren't going to dip away as much. I'll make it a bit shorter as well. How do you feel?
It's absolutely terrifying.
The graphics actually really help you. You'll see what's coming on the screen, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember.
I hope I remember. Otherwise it's just going to be stood there in awkward silence.
So when Greg will say 3, 2, 1, then click straight away.
Click straight away?
Yeah, and then that'll be your like intro.
Rock and rolling, so 3, 2.
Okay, so it's going to be wet and windy in the northwest, but it's just going to be normal but everywhere else.
Let's go again.
Yep, let's do that. There's snow, there's a storm coming. Bottom left button.
Yeah.
Takes you back.
Oh wait, I pressed the middle left.
That's right.
There we go. We're there.
Okay, we're back, we're reset, and in 3, 2.
So it's going to be wet and cold in the nut. Sorry.
Don't worry, you're just
Sorry.
like
Honestly, I'm not even kidding. This is me all day.
So it's going to be wet and cold in the northeast, but everywhere else it should be okay. Forgot which other bit. What else did I have to say? What else is happening? Look, all the rain. Whoa, rain. I promise you the people on TV make it look so much easier than it actually is, but this is how mine turned out.
So it's going to be wet and cold in the northeast, but everywhere else it should be okay. Forgot which other bit. What else did I have to say? What else is happening? Look, all the rain. Whoa, rain. There, pretty frosty, pretty cold. Temperatures, as you can see, -1. That is not good. That's really cold. Low temperatures all around the bottom half of the country. Northwest, still rain, still cold, still wet. Early Saturday morning, should start clearing up. Northwest isn't as cold or as rainy anymore. Higher temperatures, a nice 10 degrees, double digits. That's what we like to see. Subscribe to the YouTube, I guess. Do it. Look. Hey!
Good work. We were determined to meet
A bit more at the end.
Again, a massive thank you to everybody at the Met Office for having me down and making me feel so welcome. I think it's fair to say a career in weather is not on the cards for me.
All the rain. Whoa, rain.